Good morning. We have returned back to Blunts and Coffee. I know it's been a minute, but I've been on a fast, learning a bunch of things, and I had to take some time away to really get some clarification on some things. So basically lately, Prophetess Tiffany had taught us in this fast that we just completed. It was a scripture I never heard before. It is Hosea 4:16. And it says, Hosea 4:6. And it says, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee." So it made me think, because my last video I was telling you about, like right at the end, about prescription drugs and how people have now idolized doctors. Like when I de-diagnosed myself with lupus, I came to this revelation, like I'm not about to be bound by this diagnosis. I'm going to figure out why I was diagnosed with this. And like I told you, it was because the lack of my mother being there, right? So because my mom wasn't there, and of course I needed her, she wasn't there. So because of that, I went through this depression state, super depressed. My body changed, and then I was diagnosed with lupus. That was over a 2-year span. We already discussed all that. So with that being said, I came to this revelation that I'm not about to be bound by this diagnosis. I got to move forward. This is not what my life is like. This was not written for me. I got to keep it moving. So I de-diagnosed myself. I took those antidepressants for about a month, and I was like, no, this is not it. Like, the doctor did ask me, like, hey, why are you depressed? Why do you think you're depressed? And I'm like, I don't know, because at this point, I didn't realize that it was my mom or lack thereof. So I stopped taking the medication. I wasn't paying for any more blood work. I wasn't going to no doctor anymore. I don't have lupus. I know what my issue is. Let me address the issue. When my mom sent her the email explaining how I felt, why I felt, when I felt, and she came to me and explained everything and was able to give me that closure. Now, at the time, I knew of God, but I didn't know I was supposed to go to God. You know what I'm saying? Like I was never taught that. But again, I was still given that. Thank God for granting me this moment of clarity, this moment of honesty. Like it was like that, right? And that's where I'm at now. Like between my hard knock life, now a gift and a curse, I gave you volume at the volume of my works. So this is Blunts and Coffee. Shout out to Jay. So that being said, it took me down my pharmacy path. The pharmacy and my nursing has been an eye-opener, and I really feel like God has put me in position, being a nurse and a pharmacy technician, giving me the absolute knowledge to teach people how to come to God instead of relying on the doctors. Because there have been many times in my pharmacy career, I used to work with pharmacists, and I already done made my disclaimer, so whatever happens, happens. I'm covered. So I used to work with a few pharmacists. The pharmacist would be like, well, this patient has state Medicaid, state insurance. And that was another thing. Like, it became a little frustrating with my mom, in her last days, because she had state insurance and you get the bare minimum as far as treatment goes. So she was like looking through all these treatments to heal her cancer and relying on man to give her that, that confirmation. And it was God had it. You know what I'm saying? So And she was also, like I told you, she was on belief.net, but maybe she never got the revelation that she had curses that she had to break because that sickness is a curse. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe she never got to that part. So, or maybe she did. I don't know, because she's deceased and I can no longer ask her. So moving forward, I was working at the pharmacy. And I used to be a float technician, so I've worked with the poor of the poor, the richest of the rich. I floated to all pharmacies. It didn't matter. Y'all need me to work, I'd be there. You feel me? So I've been through many different neighborhoods, many different walks of life, many different people, whatever, kids, whatever. And people are so reliant on these doctors. So the pharmacist would be like, make sure you fill everything in their profile if they have state insurance because it's free to the patient. But meanwhile, our tax dollars are paying for these people's prescriptions. The insurance companies are paying for these prescriptions for these patients. They don't even know why they're taking them. My doctor said. And it's like, yo, did you do any self-work for yourself? And I think that's the problem a lot with society today too, is that we're not doing any self-work. You know what I'm saying? The doctor said, and we believe everything the doctor said. But what? And that's the easy way out. What did God tell you? God told you that you were supposed to be living heaven on earth, and that don't look like heaven on earth to me. So, the pharmacists be like, fill everything in their profile because it's free. And so let's boost our numbers. And it would be like, yo, boost the numbers so they can, have all these prescription numbers, and that they're doing bomb, and their goal is to build a business, but we're not educating our people. And I'm talking about our people, like our community, small and big. Like, people are not educated on their medications. They either choose not to be educated, or they just don't want to know, or they're just so, again, reliant on the doctor that I'm gonna believe whatever the doctor say. I would get calls all the time. Yeah, honey, can you feel my pink pill? And they'd be like, Mrs. Jenkins, what pink pill? What are you taking for? I don't know. I just know it's pink and I'm out. Like, you don't even know why you're taking this medication, grandma. But it wasn't only the grandma, so don't get it twisted. It was a lot of them. So again, here we are where we're reliant on the doctors and not seeking God. I mean, I worked with pharmacists too, where they were giving all these vaccinations. Oh, well, this vaccination is covered on your insurance. It's covered for free. You're due for 16 different vaccinations. Would you like to get them all today? And I would get written up and I would get scolded and talked about by my pharmacy manager because I wasn't pushing no vaccines. So like, at the pharmacy, they would have these index cards, right? And the index cards would indicate what vaccination or vaccine that this patient is due for or is covered on insurance. And so we got this index cards, and I would look and I would toss them to the side because I'm not pushing no vaccines. And you're like, Gina, did you ask that patient if they wanted their Tdap or flu shot or pneumonia shot? No, I did not, because I'm not pushing no vaccines that I don't believe it. I'm not, and I know I'm probably not supposed to be pushing my beliefs on nobody, but I'm not doing that. So I used to get in trouble all the time. I used to get written up for. You can ask any one of my pharmacy technicians that we work together or the pharmacists. I wasn't pushing no vaccines. So during COVID, oh my God, that was a hard time. I worked through COVID as a nurse and a pharmacy technician. It was a different world. Never seen nothing like it. So y'all mean to tell me that this COVID that just popped out, that they just literally made a vaccine overnight, y'all about to put in your body? I'm talking about hundreds of people daily, where the pharmacists were not able to keep up with being a pharmacist because they was too busy giving immunizations and trying to save the world. All this fear of COVID. And I'm so grateful to God because I worked through COVID as a nurse and a pharmacy technician. And I'm talking about house to house. I was a home health care nurse. And house to house, I went to see these people. I've never been tested for COVID. I've never had any symptoms of COVID. I've never been vaccinated from COVID. So I'll be like, no, I'm not getting no vaccine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be able to do it. And I also wasn't pushing the COVID vaccine. It was a mess. The amount of people I'm talking about, you've seen the richest of the rich come to the hood pharmacy to make sure they got their vaccine. Like, it was sickening. It was sickening. Like, where's your belief system at in God? Like, why is all this fear? My kids never had COVID. We never tested for COVID. They never had symptoms of COVID. Matter of fact, during COVID, they made a pandemic center so that I could still work as an essential worker. I would take my kids to the daycare, and it was only for essential worker, employees. And we had to show all these badges and proof that this is what we do for a living. And I was covered through all of COVID, like without one worry. I was doing God's work. Like I was the hands and feet, like out here taking care of these patients, giving them the continuity of care in their life. And that's why I feel like I was completely blessed, because I literally just was like, God, you're going to have to get me through this, because I'm not getting no vaccine. I'm not going to be able to do it. So these people are so reliant on the doctors and the pharmacists. And where is your self-work? What have you dug into your bloodline to figure out why you are the way you are? Have you taken the time out just to reflect on who you are? Are you just going to keep covering it up like that piece of newspaper that I mentioned in the last video with the boo-boo? You're just going to keep covering it up, and it's going to keep stinking. It's not going to stop stinking. It's still going to be there. So I encourage you today to look into you and your bloodline. And if you got the chance to make up with whoever, or to, I don't want to say make up, address your issues, bring it to the foot of that person and try and fix it. Clear yourself from that. Forgive them for being who they are, that you don't have to deal with if you don't want to, but you have brought your issue to their feet, and you've expressed in all fairness how you feel and why you feel the way you feel, and to keep it moving. Keep it moving. And pray. And always remember, God got your back no matter what. No matter what. So, this is it for Blunts and Coffee today. It is January the 3rd, 2024. Happy New Year. And I'll catch y'all in a few.